Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tabor Talk. Wow, beautiful day here. We actually still have a little bit of that sort of smoky stuff from the fires in Canada. But anyway, getting right into this. Now that I don't listen to Rogan anymore, I've done a couple of videos why I'm done with Rogan. He's basically a full blown right wing, reactionary, right wing propagandist, whatever. Some people even say a grifter. I don't know about that. Maybe he's just dumb. Who knows? I pick and choose. So if there's a good guest, like what was a couple of weeks ago, like Oliver Stone, I watched, and I watched the full RFK. I did a video on that. This week he's had like just rappers. I don't know. Well, yeah, Killer Mike and then Ice T, and I'm not interested in that. Joe has always been. Never mind with that. But now I have a lot more free time to listen to other things. I mean, I've always listened to David Pakman. This is what I'm going to talk about now. My YouTube channels on a regular basis. Obviously, the Young Turks, Kyle Kalinske from Secular Talk. My new guy Hasanabi. I spend many hours a day with Hasanabi. He's a great guy, funny, smart, the whole thing. He does get into some of the like game. He's a younger guy, 30s, 32, I think. But that gaming stuff, like I'm way too old for. I don't know anything about that. So that kind of But nevertheless, David Pakman was endorsed by Howard Stern. Are you kidding me? And I'm looking at his numbers, like a couple of 100,000. Is that right? Subscribers, just because Howard Stern said, "Hey, like this David Pakman, like he's really good." And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play a little clip. This is actually from the Pakman Show of Howard talking about David Pakman. Pakman. And as I always do, I'll put it in the comment section, the link. But this is really exciting because I feel the same way. David Pakman is the best. A lot of I love Kyle and Jank and all that from the Young Turks, Anna Kasparian. I love Majority Report, Sam Cedar, Emma Vigeland. Is that how you say her last name? They're all awesome, but I really think the best of the best is David Pakman. And the thing is, he looks like a kid. And Howard talks about this. Like he definitely looks like he could be my son, And I think he's like 39. He looks a lot young. He looks like a high school kid almost. And okay, here we go.
All right, this is a really great thing. Howard Stern is a big fan of the David Pakman Show. There was like a 10-minute segment on yesterday's Howard Stern show where he basically just sang the praises of the show, and it's just such a great thing. So many of you, I know, also watch or listen to the Howard Stern Show. Many of you know that I've been in Howard's audience since I was like 14. My mom would be driving me to high school, and I'd listen to the 7 minutes of the show that I could in the car on the way. And I have always been wondering, would there be anything that I could do on the show that would get me on the radar of the Howard Stern Show?
That is something.
And right? I didn't really do anything other than just doing the show. And it turns out Howard is a fan. Check this out. This is very cool. But I will tell you, there is something not so cool in this, which we're going to get to in a moment. But check this out. So many of you writing to me yesterday about it.
You ever watch this guy on the internet? His name is David Pakman. You ever see him?
No, I've heard that name though.
How could you not know?
Boomers,
old boomers.
I have a YouTube subscription, so I just watch different things on YouTube. And he seems like he's a kid. I don't know how old he is.
I love that. I mean,
Dave,
that
you do
is
look
maybe
young.
the best part of the entire thing. I love that I seem like a kid.
Right.
Look,
I'm going to continue this, and of course I'll put it in a link. But if people, I'm sure everyone knows Howard Stern, but Howard Stern in the day, it's like, I can't even begin to tell you how huge he was. Like here, especially in New York, obviously, right? His career started in Washington. This was probably in the late 70s, early 80s. And then the big move, he came to NBC to do the show. He had afternoons with Imus, Remember Imus? He passed away a few years ago. Boy, no one thinks about Imus anymore. Imus was a big deal at the time, but Howard was way, NBC, and then he was always getting, he's a very super controversial guy, right? Being really edgy stuff. A lot of it's sexual and all that, but, and he got fired, and then K-Rock hired him, and the rest is history. Howard Stern, like the biggest thing ever. By the way, paved the way for all of this type of radio, like whatever you want to call it, reality radio, the shock jock. That's a kind of a pejorative, but Howard was huge. And did a movie, Private Parts, the whole thing. I've done videos on Howard Stern. I was a huge fan of Howard. Listened to him religiously, and then when he got big, I kind of got sick of him. I was like old hat. He got too big for me and whatever. And so when he went to Sirius back in, was it 2006 or 7, and then I never got the Sirius package, and I think I love him now. But anyway, let me just continue.
But he's like a young guy, and he talks politics. He's like a commentator, and he's really good. And I'm just wondering who he is and what he's done. I end up watching everything he does.
Folks.
I think you can subscribe to his channel.
Absolutely.
Which I don't do. Like, I don't pay for it. I get the free feed.
That's what I do.
Kidding me, Howard?
Do you give him a like or anything? Do you do anything?
This is funny. Listen,
I don't give anybody any likes.
That's so funny.
I don't like anything, but I do like the guy. Just not giving a like. That's so dumb.
It's so boomer.
Like, give me likes.
We need those likes, though. Please.
It does. It does. The algorithm. It does affect the algorithm. The more likes you get. It's called ratio. The likes, the dislikes. I don't pay attention to that crap. I kind of look at the views. I like views and subscriptions. I mean, it's out of your control, like whatever. But here you go.
Really into likes. Like, how come you didn't like my this or that? And I go, well, I don't know. I mean, I like it, but I don't have to tell the world I like it.
It's the algorithm,
very,
bro.
Very good stuff. Like, this is really a great thing for the show. And I'll tell you, there are some really big people that listen to the Howard Stern Show every day. And I've heard from some of them over the last 24 hours. This is really a big deal for the show.
I end up putting on YouTube, and I watch different clips, either about chess but this guy, David Pakman, shows up. And he's like a commentator, like you'd see. They should really hire him on MSNBC.
MSNBC doesn't want me. Now, that's a whole other story. Like, every single one of these little clips could be a whole conversation. I've been on Fox News, I've been on CNN, I've been on Sirius Satellite Radio, I have never been on MSNBC. MSNBC doesn't want me. They're not interested in what I have to offer. That's very, very clear.
And by the way, would you want to work for MSNBC? I know Brian Tyler Cohen's another guy I love. Younger guy, he's awesome. He's actually was hired by MSNBC recently, like part-time. Obviously, he's still going to do a show. But if there's an argument that, hey, they're bigger on the internet, like the whole cable news is dying. That's a dying animal, So David Pakman is probably, I guess it would be cool. I don't know. But really, cable news is dead. It's dying. It's still alive, but it's a dying breed. It's the internet. It's all about the internet. So why would you want to, right? Let me just continue on. Just for another minute or so.
Pac-Man's 39 years old. Oh, he looks like he's 15 to me.
I'll take it.
I thought
He looks like a 15-year-old and he's 39 to you?
I thought he was like a...
Pretty insulting.
I thought he was like a high school student or something. He's particularly bright.
If I was doing what I was doing as a high school student, it would be an unbelievable thing. I would love that. I would love to go back and do it as a high school student.
Okay, I'll tell you what, because it's annoying me just putting the phone on, I can imagine. I'll put the whole thing in. It's like 10 minutes in the comment section. It's funny about like the high school kid. When I was in college, I took a course in like television and radio production and all this, and we used to cover something called the high school bowl, and it was just it was kind of like just a trivia, like a Jeopardy sort of thing for high school kids, and we were all so shocked how smart these kids were. Like, how do you know this? Like stuff that I was just a college kid back then too, but these kids knew everything. I'm like, how do you, like a history, everything, science, and you're like 17, like what? Like just these geniuses. And they probably just read, and they probably have like a memory, like a steel trap. So like these whiz kids, and that's David Pakman. He still looks like a kid. So I don't want to go over 10 minutes. Watch the video that I put in the comment section. So happy for David Pakman, always rooting for him. Just such a brilliant guy. Just so eloquent the way he speaks. Obviously, on the right side, he's a progressive left, Democrat, but totally rational. Super reasonable guy, goes super hard on Trump and the right wing assholes, all that. So, okay, over 10 minutes now. Good friends, good books, and a sleepy conscience. Howard Stern, David Pakman. You gotta love it.